film today? Oh, say hi. Oh, Miss Arya. Look, you blend in with my sweater. You just look like another fuzzy lump in the sweater. Oh, okay, you're gone, okay. Long time no see, everyone. I am sorry. There were a couple factors in me not getting a video up last week. 1, my ill planning. 2, my internet issues. And 3, I was behind on my reading. And it was also a holiday and I was traveling to see family I haven't seen in forever. So, you know, it was just like a lot of factors that came together in the fact that I was not able to get a video up last week. So I bit off more than I could chew in November in general. I was busier. I was gone for an entire week on vacation because I went to Disney and I got this super fuzzy, soft Star Wars sweater. I'm in love with it. It is the softest thing I've ever owned. It's so cozy. It's nice and toasty in the winter because I live in the Midwest. It's cold here. And also, do you want to see the other thing that I bought while I was there? If you follow me on Instagram, you already saw when I made this. But I made my own lightsaber when I was there. I was going back and forth for so long on if I was going to make one or not, because my brother made one a few years ago when we went and I like regretted it then, but I was still in college then and like extremely broke. Like I couldn't even like pay my rent in college. So I was like, I can't do that then. Now I have a real job, and this was still like an irresponsible financial decision, but it's so cool. Just wait. Is the battery literally already dead on it? I swear to God. One of the flight attendants put it in like a little closet on the plane and it was on that whole flight. So now it's been like dying. So because I do turn it off on frequently. So I need to figure out how to get a new battery in here, I guess. So I can't do like a little light up thing, but it is red. I have a red kyber crystal in it and it's so exciting. It's like very heavy duty and I'm gonna mount it on my wall. I just haven't done so yet. Anyways, that's not why we're here. We're here to wrap up my November reading. This might actually be a shorter video for once because I only read 11 books this month, which I was not like I felt like very behind in my reading, even though like I'm way ahead of my goal and I beat my reading goal from last year as well, like the number of books that I've read this year. So I don't need to be hard on myself, but yet like I can't help myself but sometimes doing that anyways. But I read 11 books, which I think is pretty good, seeing as I was on vacation for an entire week and I was not reading like literally at all while I was there because there's no time to read at Disney. Start out the month, I finished the Skyscraper Cinderella trilogy. I read Prince Charming and The Glass Slipper. I have the bind up of all 3 of the books, so the last 2 are in here, and I read both these. I give both of those 4 stars. I'd give the series 4 stars all around. This series is so fun. Like, it's just a fun, spicy time. Do I necessarily think that they're soulmates? No, but I did really love Winston and Ash anyways. The drama in here is just fun. Like, it keeps you going. They're shorter books. It is like kind of a Cinderella retelling with like a twist or whatever. It's like Cinderella but make it dirty. That's how I like to call it. It's got like the billionaire trope in it. It's got some like degradation in here if you're into that. Anyways, it follows Winston and Ash. And in the first book, they make like a little deal where Winston pays Ash money to have some sort of arrangement with him. And they kind of go from there. I can't really say too much about the 2 books that I read because obviously you would need to read the first one to kind of get the ground base of the story. But I'll just say I loved this series and I would highly recommend it if you haven't read it yet. And I really like this world. It's the Midnight Dynasty. And I have a few other books in the series in there, like Lessons in Sin by Pam Godwin is in this world, and Dangerous Temptation, Gianna Darling's newest book, that's in here as well, and like this world of all these people. So I can't wait to read more of these because this world is just like cool, and now I'm going to make it my personal mission to read the whole Midnight Dynasty series. Okay, so next I read the new novella by B. Celeste, All of the Shattered Pieces. So this one is a novella following the events of Underneath the Sycamore Tree. And I want to spoil this, I want to talk about it, and like I want to give my full thoughts on it. So if you haven't read Underneath the Sycamore Tree and you plan to, please skip ahead because I'm going to spoil that entire book right here. So I'm giving you a warning, skip ahead. I'll see you at the next book, probably like a minute or 2. You can see like the little picture scrolling on the screen. I'm giving you time, jump ahead. Okay, if you're here, you're gonna be spoiled. So this one follows Caden and a few years after the events of Underneath the Sycamore Tree, and he's still really grieving Emery's death. So I loved this. I gave this 5 stars. And if you know me, I do not give novellas 5 stars because I don't think that, for me personally, I never enjoy them as much as a full-length novel. So I'm like, I'm never going to give one 5 stars. I often don't even give them 4 stars because I still don't often enjoy them enough. And if I do, it's mostly because it's following characters that I already know. I don't think I've ever picked up a novella right off the bat and loved it enough to give it 4 strong stars. So for me to give this one 5 was a lot for me, but it was so good. B. Celeste does something so good with writing angsty, sad characters and sad moments. And this was so hard to watch Caden grieve because you're almost grieving along with him. I love Underneath the Sycamore Tree and I loved Emery, and that ending just completely wrecked me. Then this too just completely did a number on me. It was just amazing. And not only do we see him years later when he's really struggling with Emery's death, we also then get some bonus scenes told from his point of view from Underneath the Sycamore Tree. So it's a few chapters that B. Celeste just retold from his point of view, and I loved those too. It just made me want to go back and reread that book so badly. I loved this. I love Underneath the Sycamore Tree, and if you haven't read it yet, if you haven't read it yet, I don't know what you're doing here because I just spoiled things for you, but go and read it. I think it's by far my second favorite B. Celeste book. I just love it. Okay, next is a book that I'm going to kind of gloss over a bit because it's going to be in my crying vlog that I'm going to have up in December because I'm currently reading the last book for that now, so I should have that up in December sometime. Also, I'm going to make up for my lack of upload last week because my December schedule is insane. I'm probably going to be doing more 2 a week uploads. But that's Hello Stranger by Jade West. I think I gave this one 3 stars. Maybe I gave it 3.5, but I rounded down to 3 on Goodreads. I will definitely talk way more in depth about this in that vlog and my thoughts and why I gave it that. All I'll say is that I do think it is at least one of the better books that I've read by Jade West. I haven't had the best luck with her books, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think I loved this one as much as other people did, but at least I accomplished my goal. I didn't shed a tear. So now we're on to my favorites for the month. So I finished The Maid series by Danielle Laurie, 5 and 5 stars. So first we'll talk about The Maddest Obsession. Christian and Gianna, I was not excited to jump in their book, and I think that's why I took a bit of a break because they do make an appearance in The Sweetest Oblivion and we get a little bit of them, and I was kind of I don't really necessarily care about them. I didn't not like them, but I was also not eager to jump into their book. Oh, did they prove me wrong? These 2 are soulmates. These 2 are soulmates. So obviously it's a mafia book. Gianna is in the mafia. She was married to a mafia boss. RIP to that man. Not really, whatever. He's gone. And then she's married to another guy. Why can't I even remember how that plays out? I literally just read this. Anyways, she's married into men into the mafia, and just as women are kind of treated in the mafia, she's kind of passed from one husband to another after things happen to her husbands. Not her involvement, but just karma. Christian Alistair is an FBI agent, but he's in with the mafia. He's kind of a dirty cop, which I don't normally like cop romances, literally at all, but I actually really like that, he's in the FBI, but he's not really with them. He's with the mafia. He's a cold Iceman, which you guys know I just love. I love a super cold, icy, brooding man. And Gianna, she's not necessarily a sunshine, but she's just more of a firecracker. And the 2 of them together, oh, their dynamic was unmatched. I just can't say enough good things about this. The plot-wise, I guess I just kind of gave setup. I didn't really say anything about plot-wise, but I mean, you can read it to find out. It does do a little bit of time jumping at the beginning. It's going back and forth years prior because they've known each other for years. So it had to span quite a bit of time. So there is some past in the beginning and then you jump to present. And one thing that I will say about this that I really appreciated was there was some OCD representation. I don't ever think the psychiatrist didn't necessarily, I don't think she 100% was OCD. I think she maybe said mild OCD. But it's pretty implied that Christian has OCD, and as someone with OCD, I personally thought the representation here was good. There was one crazy comment by Gianna, which I was kind of ugh, whatever. But overall, I thought it was at least well represented, and it wasn't used as someone being oh my god, I'm so OCD because I put paper towels in between my dishes. Looking at you, old college roommate. I get kind of picky about that. But I did overall like it in here, and I just loved Christian and Gianna. And after Nico and Elena, I really didn't think that like they could be topped because I just loved them so much that I was like, they're gonna be my favorite couple of the series. Then I read these and they gave them a run for their money. And then I really didn't think they could be topped. Enter in Ronan and Mila. This is my favorite of the series. I don't know. I gave these both 5 stars, and I had given The Sweetest Oblivion 4.5. So I guess it would rank like this one, Maddest Obsession, Sweetest Oblivion. Kidnapping and kidnapper and captive. It has to be done right for me. And this was done right. So this one follows Ronan and Mila, and Ronan is Christian's brother, and he is in the Russian mafia. And Mila's dad, she like has a lot of questions about him. She's maybe like 19, or she had just turned 20 at the start of this book. And he had just missed a life event of hers, and she's like, where's my dad? Does he have a secret family? Like, what is going on here? And no one will give her any answers. So she escapes her security one night and flies herself over to Russia to find some answers. And as soon as she shows up there, things are off. Like, people are looking at her weird, saying things weird to her, like backing away from her. Like, she just knows that something's weird over there. And she ends up almost being assaulted by a man. And then she runs into a bar to like escape. And she runs into literally into Ronan. And things go from there. And the reason that this works for me is because it's not immediately off the bat that it's like, I'm kidnapping you. Like, they had a chance to form a relationship outside of that for Mila, I guess. It was never outside of it. It's just she wasn't aware of that. But it was great. Ronan was so hot. I loved Ronan in this. I loved Ronan. I loved Mila, like very grumpy sunshine. Mila, I could see how some people could maybe be annoyed with her because she kind of is a little naive. But like given that the life that she grew up living, I don't think that's surprising that she would be naive. Overall, I just loved this. And I think outside of Twisted Pride, it is by far my favorite like kidnapper captive book that I've read. Like, it just worked in here for me. Their chemistry, the tension between the two of them was just like perfection. And also the plot was great. Like, I loved we're like unraveling all these different things with like Ronan, but then we're also unraveling things with Mila's dad and her mother. And it was just, there was a lot going on, and it was fantastic. Okay, then I needed another novella. I needed like something quick to feel like I was being productive in my reading. So I read Go Deep by Realsie Adams. I gave this one 3.5 out of 5 stars because here's the thing. It was like overall like a very good, well-written novella and everything, but it was friends to lovers, and it was pretty low on angst, pretty low on drama. And these people are just like level-headed, smart, intelligent, good communicators. So, you know, that doesn't, you know me, I love my toxic shit. And there's like no toxicity to be found between these two. It follows Xander and Nevaeh. And Nevaeh is an erotica romance writer. And she's just in a bit of a rut. She had just published another book, and like her readers are unhappy, and they're saying like she's lost her spark. And she's also kind of felt like she's lost it a bit. And she's just really getting bogged down under like negative reviews and just like the negative feedback. And she's like, yeah, you know, I think I have kind of like stalled out a bit. She's like, I'm lacking inspiration. You know the kind of inspiration. She's lacking it in her life. So you know who she enlists the help of, and he offers his help, is her best friend Xander, her childhood best friend. And she enlists him, and he decides to help give her some inspiration back. And boy, does he bring it back. So I will say the spice in this was incredible. So well written. These two characters, like, I could immediately feel like the bond, like for so quickly for me to feel that they just do have like this deep love for each other. That's not even like love, like partner love. It's like just person love. They just so truly like love and respect one another. And you could tell that right from the beginning, which is like insane for a novella to like convey that so quickly for me. And you know, it basically kind of focuses around their like relationship evolving from that, and then also them kind of talking to their friends of being like, oh, you know, like this is gonna change everything, whatever. So overall, I did get kind of bored, but that's just because I don't love friends to lovers, because I do think that it's like a little low angst. And these characters were just like smart, mature characters. You know, they weren't going to be like immature about things. They communicated what they were feeling. And while that like made it a pleasant reading experience, it's also like not my personal favorite, if that makes sense. I did still really enjoy this, and I would definitely recommend it to you, especially if you love friends to lovers and you want like a high heat novella. I mean, this is right here and waiting for you. Like, it definitely is, I think, worth the read. It's just not going to ever be like a personal favorite of mine. Then I completely forgot that this had come out until I got home and I was like, oh my God, I completely forgot that this had released. I had been so excited for this, and that is Believe Me by Tahereh Mafi. So this is a novella at the end of the Shatter Me series. So it immediately picks up on the events of the 6th book, Imagine Me. So it's like right after. So obviously you have to read the whole series to get to this. There are going to be spoilers in here as well, because obviously it's the last novella of this whole series. So if you haven't read the Shatter Me series and you plan on doing it, maybe skip ahead of it, unless you already kind of know like some general things. Like, I'm more just going to spoil a couple right here for you. And so, you know, skip ahead, skip ahead, skip ahead. Okay, we're calling it good. This one follows Warner and Juliet's wedding planning, which I was so excited because this was in Warner's POV, and Warner is one of my favorite like YA comfort characters. I love him. I love this series in general. First of all, I love the Shatter Me series. Even if you don't read YA a lot, I still think that this series is fantastic and I would recommend it. I just love it. So this one, as I said, follows immediately after the events of Imagine Me. So they're getting married, cute. We love to see it, but also they're dealing with all of the actions that now must be figured out and taken after a revolution, basically. So this did a really good job of like doing a lot of world building and sort of like alluding to answers. Like, obviously the problems were not going to be solved. Their whole entire society was not going to be figured out in the span of this novella. However, they have the steps and the direction set by the end of this where you can like kind of see how things would play out a little bit, or like who are going to be the key players moving forward, which I really appreciated, because Imagine Me did leave some open questions for me, where at least now I feel like I know the general direction of where some of those world building things are going with this. And most importantly to me, this was just really looking more into Warner and Juliet's relationship. It did get a little spicy. This is the like only book with like a spicy scene that like it kind of goes a little more in depth, and it's not like a fade to black, which I was not expecting, but I was not complaining either. Although technically this, I think it's still, I don't know now if this could be considered YA, like this novella specifically. But I loved getting inside Warner's head of this. I liked the wedding planning between him and Juliet. I liked seeing them like I loved seeing her stick up for Warner, because even though Warner can handle himself, everyone is like extremely rude to him just because they think that they can be. And I did like that finally she was like, you guys just can't talk to him that way, and like straight up just say to his face how much you like hate him. Like, you can't do that. Just because Warner's like sitting here and taking it doesn't mean that you can act that way to him and say those things to him. And I was like, oh, like, because you know Warner can stand up for himself. But the fact that Juliet came in and defended him as well, I was like, oh, queen. Anyways, I love them both. And this was so cute. And I don't really have anything else to say about it, except that it was just cute and fun, and I gave it 4 stars. And lastly, what I read for the month. I read the first 3 books in the Filthy Rich American series. So they consist of The Initiation, The Obsession, and The Deception. So these ones all follow one couple, and then the next 2 books both follow different ones, I think. But these all follow our main character, Mariest. I think that's how you say it. Mariest. That's how I read it in my head. Marist? Because like Mariest, it sounds like Merriest Christmas. That's not even a word. Mariest? Whatever. We need to get past the name here. Mariest, whatever. So she is the second daughter in this wealthy family, but not like super, they're like wealthy and they're like high up in society, but they're not like the top of the top. They're not the Hales, which own the Hales like banking incorporation, and they're at the top of the pyramid in this town. Everyone loves them. Everyone wants to be them. Everyone wants to be with them. So the head of that family is McAllister, and then he has 2 sons, Vance and Royce. And Royce is like promised to marry Mariest's older sister, Emily. However, some things happen and Emily no longer is going to marry Royce. So Mariest is, you know, arranged to marry him due to some circumstances between her family. There's like a lot of drama within like their family, and like why McAllister then like sets this arrangement up and like kind of manipulates her into getting with Royce. However, here's the thing. Royce and Mariest. Mariest has been like an outcast because Royce made her an outcast, because whatever Royce says goes to like everyone in society. And then one night at a party, like a few years back, they had like a moment. They had a moment and Royce was like, wait for me. Because she was like, I'm untouched. And he was like, wait for me. and he came back for her. So anyways, this is all about the initiation, because then once someone is going to marry someone that's a part of the board, or like becoming a board member on the bank, which Royce is doing, they have a little initiation that does involve Mariest. When I tell you the drama factor of this series, out of this world. Like, so good. I loved the drama in this. It very similarly reminded me to the Skyscraper Cinderella trilogy in terms of like it being like family, rich people drama. So I gave all of these 3.5 stars. I did round them up to 4 on Goodreads because I did feel like it leaned more that way for me. However, here's the thing. McAllister, the dad, is also very into Mariest, and that's made known in this book, so I'm not really like spoiling anything, but that does not go away for this entire series. And honestly, I was rooting for him, and I wasn't supposed to be, but I felt way more connection between her and McAllister than her and Royce. Honestly, Royce is just kind of bland. Like, he's fine, but he's like a rich, pretty boy. I don't know, he was just kind of bland. He wasn't, like, I didn't really feel their chemistry or their connection that much. However, like, her and McAllister had this, like, tension between the two of them. I mean, McAllister is a piece of garbage, too. Like, both of these men are not worthy of her. But, you know, it is what it is in here. And I think that's why it detracted my overall enjoyment from these, is because I just didn't care about Royce and Mariest and if they were going to be together. I truly didn't. I didn't really feel any chemistry between them. I truly think that 10, 15 years down the road from these books, they're gonna both be having affairs with other people. Like, they were just kind of there. As far as like the romance goes, like, it was just not there for me whatsoever. However, like, the spice and the drama and the cliffhangers of these were 10 out of 10. So while I did not love the main characters, I did really love the drama of this series and just like the setup in the world. It was just interesting. And I think these covers are really pretty too. I have the other 2 books and I don't know when I'm going to try to read them. I think I might try to read them in December still, but we'll see, because I'm very interested in the 4th book and I have gotten messages from people saying that the 4th book is their favorite and the best. Hey, that is everything that I've read in November. So as I said, I will have my December TBR video out soon because I need to put that together and then we'll see. So yeah, I have my crying vlog coming soon once I finish. I am currently reading 1,000 Boy Kisses right now by Tilly Cole, and that is the last and final book that I have for that vlog that will be up soon. So yeah, I'm like 10% into that one right now, so I definitely was not going to finish that in time to include in here, but I'll just include that obviously in my December wrap-ups and then in that vlog. That's it. I have a lot of videos coming in December because I'm going to be doing like second half of the year favorites, my favorites of the year, my favorite from each month. Like, we're just gonna have a lot of content. We're gonna have a lot of videos and coming up this next month. So hopefully I'm better at staying on top of things. So anyways, that's it for today, and I will see you when I see ya.